The latest live-action Disney remake is also the first one to be exclusively in theaters since before COVID. So it's kind of a big deal. And then, of course, the internet trolls have been making a big deal about it for other reasons. But let's talk about The Little Mermaid. Hey guys, Dan here. This is Dan Reviews It. Welcome to my review for the new version of The Little Mermaid. I usually say spoiler free, when I talk about my movie reviews, but I think we all know, the story of The Little Mermaid. I think we kind of know what's going to happen in this movie, so there's not much to spoil here anyway. But I will say, I think this will be one of the most authentic reviews of this movie that you will see, because I have never seen the original Little Mermaid. I've never seen the cartoon version. So, I have some gaps in my Disney Renaissance stuff. I've never seen Pocahontas. I've not seen Hercules. Hunchback, I think, is the only other major one I have missed. But I've never seen the original Little Mermaid. So I will be talking really exclusively about this new version. And look, I know the gist of the story. That really has not changed for this. And I know, obviously, some of the big hit songs. But yeah, I think as a result, you might get a more authentic take on this version of The Little Mermaid, because I didn't grow up with the original. I don't have all of those sort of fond memories that I think a lot of people watching this version will have. So before we launch into the movie any further, let me welcome you into Dan Reviews It. Thank you for finding this video. We've got a ton of great movie and TV reviews for you to check out. I try to post something new just about every day for you. So please consider subscribing down below. Hit that notification bell as well, so you can be alerted when I drop those new videos every day. And if not, you can like this video, comment on it, share it on your socials. All that stuff does help the channel out too. All right, so let's talk about this. Of course, this is the story of Ariel, the mermaid princess who wants to go into the human world. She's fascinated by it, and she's forbidden by her father, but she ends up making a deal with the sea witch named Ursula to trade her voice for human legs in order to impress this prince who she saved. And she's got sort of a time limit on that. Bunch of classic Disney tropes. True love's kiss is the only thing that can break the spell. Yada, yada, yada. So a bunch of the Disney classics, right? So Haley Bailey stars here as Ariel, who, I have called her Ariel my whole life, even though I've never seen the original movie. But here they keep calling her Ariel, which to me is like a radial tire. But, one character, I believe, calls her Ariel. Everybody else, Ariel, which I think is just, I don't know, an ugly version of the name. But in any event, Haley Bailey portrays Ariel here. And pretty much unknown. I had never heard of her before she was cast in this. And of course, immediately all the internet racists came out of the woodwork, and not that they were ever in hiding the last couple of years, but, came out, our mermaids can't be black, whatever. Okay. So that was sort of the stigma, or whatever around this movie, for a while. And then I think eventually people kind of moved on, and, because it's been in the works for a while. And then we heard her sing in the preview, and, I think probably even the racists had to shut up at that point. She's got an amazing voice. But anyway, some other people in this movie. Ursula is Melissa McCarthy. Jonah Hauer-King, who I was not familiar with, portrays Prince Eric. Daveed Diggs is here. Awkwafina, Jacob Tremblay, and Javier Bardem plays the father. So this is directed by Rob Marshall, who I would say is probably most famous for directing the movie version of Chicago, which was excellent. And I think it won Best Picture. I know it was nominated for a million things, but I think it actually won Best Picture. But he's worked with Disney several times in the past, because he directed the great Mary Poppins Returns a few years ago. He directed one of the Pirates of the Caribbean sequels. That probably was not a good one. And then he also directed Into the Woods, which was pretty good too. So he's got experiences with musicals, certainly. But this was, I think, a big task, because, like I mentioned up at the top, it is the first all theatrical live action remake they've done since before COVID. All of them have either gone directly to Disney Plus, or they did like a hybrid, like Cruella, where it went to select theaters that were open at the time, but then also you could pay $20 to watch it on Disney Plus if you wanted to. Same thing with Mulan. So this is I think kind of a big deal. They were expecting a lot of things for it, and it had an amazing opening weekend. I think it made almost 90 million just in that first weekend. So very good stuff. All right, so anyway, let's talk about the bad first, I suppose, because I think there's a lot of good here. So we'll sort of end on a higher note. I'll start by saying I think this is one of the better Disney live action remakes that they have done. I would say so far, Beauty and the Beast is my favorite. I know some people have issues with that one, but I loved Beauty and the Beast. The Jungle Book. Most people, I think, say that one's up there. And the live action Cinderella also very good. This is probably top 5 though. And the ones they've done lately have not been great. Peter Pan and Wendy was very middling. Pinocchio, even worse. I was not a fan of Cruella. The second Maleficent was terrible. I didn't like The Lion King. So the last Mulan was okay, but the last several years of these have not been good. But I kept hearing good things about this, so my expectations were elevated a bit, and it's clear why. This is a really, really good movie. Now, it is a good hour longer than the original cartoon version, which I did think, okay, maybe that's a little much. Other than one portion, and I did look up afterwards what the differences were in terms of like what they've added, which I'm not really going to speak much to, but there was one scene like where it's like a montage. I was like, this is definitely added for this, because there's no way this 10-minute, whatever, felt like 10 minutes. It was probably 4 minutes, but this montage was in the original. That was the only time I really have to say I sort of felt the length. Other than that, I was pretty into this movie. So anyway, I already mentioned her amazing voice. Haley Bailey, oh my God, blew it out of the water, no pun intended, with her voice. But her acting, very good too. Melissa McCarthy is amazing in this movie. We've seen her do so many different things over the last maybe 5 years. We knew her mainly for comedy, for Gilmore Girls, and then in her movie career, obviously Bridesmaids and many other things. But, she turned in this amazing dramatic performance years ago that she got nominated for, called Can You Ever Forgive Me was the movie. But she, who knew she could do something like this? And by that I mean, yeah, okay, she was evil in Can You Forgive Me? So we got the evil stuff, but I didn't know she could sing. I can't remember any of her performances where she sang, and as far as I can tell, and as far as I know, she was doing her own singing. She's great, but more than that, she is like intense in this role. She was such a great casting choice for Ursula. So loved that. The look of it is great. It's very colorful and very bright, and I think we need that after everybody's trying to do like the dark version of things. And Peter Pan and Wendy was, like I said, it was an okay movie, but it was very kind of dark. This is bright and colorful and fun, and we don't see a lot of that really in the live action movies anymore, Disney really or otherwise. Everybody wants to be so dark and brooding now. But this had some beautiful stuff. And the songs, of course, we know that the famous songs. Under the Sea is a showstopper here, much like Be Our Guest was in Beauty and the Beast. Just visually a wonderful, wonderful song in the middle of the movie. And so many great visual components to that. So these are all, really, really good aspects of the film. A few of the bad ones, the CGI is not great in some places. Especially after watching something like Avatar: The Way of Water, which I admit I didn't really care for, but visually it was, amazing, as you would expect from an Avatar movie. But those underwater scenes, because they were filmed underwater, they looked so cool. Here it's really obvious, and evident, and not looking great in some parts, not all, but when you're underwater, some of it just didn't quite work for me. I'll admit they tried to like flow her hair a little bit. It didn't work so great. So that was number one. Number two, Aquafina, I'm getting sort of, I don't know, Aquafina out, I guess. When she first came on the scene, I was like, okay, I can dig her, and some projects I absolutely love her. I thought she was great in the Shang-Chi movie. Her sitcom on Comedy Central, Nora is what is it? Nora Aquafina is Nora from Queens. She was great there. But she just did a Disney voice, because she was in Raya and the Last Dragon. So I don't know why. Look, I get, I'm all for diversity, like, but it's almost like Disney doesn't know any other, Asian actresses. It's like, let's put Aquafina in everything we've got, because Shang-Chi obviously is Disney as well. So I was sort of not really loving that necessarily. So she plays the like the seagull, whatever, Scuttle, and I, and I just watched her in Renfield too. She played in that, and she was okay in that, but that wasn't really a great movie to begin with. But she just sort of every time she showed up, she just doesn't change her voice at all, and she's got a very distinct voice. A lot of these other people like Daveed Diggs, I didn't quite know that it was him, and of course, this sort of goes hand in hand with the Aquafina thing, but of course, because it's a new Disney live action movie, they want to put a new song in there for Oscar contention or whatever else. And so they went to Lin-Manuel Miranda, the only person Disney knows that can write songs these days, to do a song for Aquafina and Daveed Diggs to sing together called The Scuttlebutt. And it was okay. It's kind of catchy. And personally, I don't mind that Lin-Manuel is sort of their go-to. I mean, Disney has always done that. In the 60s, it was the Sherman Brothers. And then, in the 90s, it was, Tim Rice. What was it? Tim Rice and Alan Menken, right? Or something. And then, now, okay, Lin-Manuel writes all of them. All right, it's fine. I do think he's got his own style, so all of these songs are sort of in that vein. So right away I knew, I was like, okay, this must be the song they added, because I've never heard of this song, and it's very, very like hip and now, and they're rapping in it. And sure enough, yeah, it's new. So the song itself was okay, but Aquafina singing, not so much. So these are the negatives for me. I don't know why they keep casting Aquafina in things. There's other people out there, that can fit the bill. So again, no pun intended, I guess. But all right. So anyway, we'll kind of wrap it there. This is one of the better ones. I would say probably top 5 for the Disney live actions. I will leave The Little Mermaid 2023 with a B. All right. Thank you for watching, and we'll see everybody next time on Dan Reviews It. Bye.